Hey besties, come and tune in because the Beyond Borders podcast is back with another episode. I'm Jess and with me is...
Francis, and today we will be at your service.
But before we start, Hosty, the Beyond Borders podcast team would like to congratulate everyone for surviving midterms week.
Congratulations, everyone. Don't forget to treat yourselves and celebrate this progress. Speaking of progress, this March, there is a lot of news going on lately, and we would like to keep you up to date with the current events around us. After 2 years of the whole world closing its borders to tourists, there are several countries that are opening up its borders again for leisure travel that Filipinos can enter with or without visa, such as Australia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia, and many more. The good news is that tourists can enter these countries without passing through quarantine showing proof that they are fully vaccinated. On the other hand, our country is also opening its borders to foreigners visa-free and quarantine-free. Secretary Bernadette Puyat of the Department of Tourism said that masaya kami lahat kasi nagbukas tayo ulit, as tourism plays a big role in the Philippine economy. So, we are almost getting back to normal after COVID-19. Are we?
I hope so, Hosty. Another sign that we are on the road to normalcy is that basic education schools and universities around the country are opening their doors to students after 2 long years of online distance learning. For the Basic Education Department, according to the Department of Education, 10,196 schools around the country are having limited face-to-face classes, with 9,994 public schools and 212 private schools as of March 23, 2022. Although schools are opening their doors to their students, they have to comply with DepEd's school safety assessment tool to be ensured that the students are safe as COVID is still around, and the location of the institutions must be either under Alert Level 1 or 2. The Department of Education officials are on the process of nominating more schools to conduct limited face-to-face classes around the country, as they are participating in the progressive expansion of the safe reopening of schools.
On the other hand, for higher education institutions, universities around the country are reopening their doors for face-to-face classes, prioritizing the graduating students and those who have laboratory courses. And if these universities are under the Alert Level 1 status, they can open their schools with a 100% classroom capacity, provided that the university students are fully vaccinated. And if they are not to partially vaccinated, they are not allowed to enter the school premises and will remain under flexible learning modalities. The IATF also mentioned that there would be a strong possibility that there would be a face-to-face graduation for the graduating class. According to Dr. Edsel Zalbana, a well-known infectious disease expert, she mentioned that as the pandemic is here to stay, COVID-19 is seeming to become endemic. Therefore, this means that we should live with COVID-19 already as we are on the road to normalcy.
The month of March was filled with fun and exciting activities that promote collaboration, friendship, and peace as we celebrate the World Rotaract Week 2022.
That's right, Jess. A Thanksgiving Mass was held last March 6 at the Redemptorist Church of Cebu, with the Cebu Council of Rotaract Clubs to kickstart the celebration of the 54th World Rotaract Week from March 6 to 13, 2022. The life-changing officers and members were present to celebrate and offer thanks to the Almighty God for the club's 13th charter anniversary.
In addition to this hosty, our fellow Rotaractors and Carolinians shared their Kwentong Rotaract, where they shared their proudest moment with the club that inspired and encouraged to change lives. That was held from March 8 to 12. Here are the winners for the hashtag Kwentong Rotaract Challenge. Major prize goes to LCP Adonicol Marie Palma and minor prizes to Rotaractor Juliana Marie Mabugat and Rotaractor Glaze Olmedo.
Another milestone for the Rotaract Club of Cebu Fanta USC chapter as they renewed their twin club agreement last March 9, which was witnessed by the DRR Griffins Malazarte and DRR Luis Lane Antonio, and the members and officers of both clubs the promises to forward more innovative solutions for the community and continue to serve. And isn't this amazing, Hosty?
Truly, Hosty, to be able to witness such an event is a privilege. And besides that, the RACCF USC and Rotaract Club of Metro Cebu hosted the Bingo Night for a Cause by the Cebu Council of Rotaract Club last March 10. A total of 171 cards sold and 3,450 pesos raised. Winners of each round received cash prizes while the portion of the proceeds was used for the community service or hygiene kit giving to the children of Barangay Banilan.
Wow! Kudos to those generous hearts who bought the bingo cards. In a more friendly note, last March 12, 2022, a friendly bowling tournament at the Gaisano Bowling Complex with the Cebu Council of Rotaract Clubs was held in celebration of the World Rotaract Week 2022. Represented by LCP Louis James Haminal and active member Rotaract Aaron Uwe, participated in the friendly bowling tournament at the Gaisano Bowling Complex. This fun-filled day was facilitated and hosted by the Rotaract Club of Cebu South. On the same day, the community service and hygiene kit giving in Barangay Banilad was held. This community service is the fruit of the fundraising activity Bingo Night for a Cause.
That bowling tournament sounds fun, Hosty, but the fun didn't stop there. The club also facilitated the Cranes for Peace, a paper crane making workshop. The participants got to know the art of origami and the inspirational story of Sadako Sasaki. Congratulations to the following for winning the said contest. First place, Edison Jasper Amodia. Second place, Jaira Yu. And third, Olmedo Glaze and Anre Nelmida.
Congratulations to the winners. May their cranes fly as we pray for world peace. Moving forward, this month's RA Cinema Online was a documentary titled Becoming from the book of former U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama.
With its commitment to serve to change lives, the RACCF-USC, represented by life-changing president, proudly reported the club's achievements and long-term goals during the District Rotaract Representative's visit to the Cebu Council of Rotaract Clubs last March 13, 2022, to Casino Espanol, Cebu City. LCP Louis Haminal highlighted the stories of Carolinian Rotaractors who fight for important causes, especially in this time of the pandemic. Together with our life-changing officers, members, and aspirants, RACCF-USC continues to lay out activities and projects that help the club to achieve its mission and live out its true identity, to be people of action.
The members of this club really act with purpose. To end March with a bang, a Rotary Youth Leadership Award, RYLA 2022, Together We Can, Collaborate, Adapt, and Navigate, a leadership training camp for youths who exemplify strong leadership skills occurred. The conference was hosted by Rotary Club of Waling-Waling Davao. The club sponsored 5 nominees, namely President-elect Riaco Maria Diaz, Secretary-elect Abigail Ibanez, and active Rotaractors Glaze Olmedo, Juliana Mabugat, and Rad Lester Maestrado.
Whew, this month was really filled with life-changing activities. Hey Francis, do you know what the month of March celebrates?
From what I know, it's Fire Prevention Month, right?
Well, yeah, but in March, we also commemorate International Women's Month. In this month, we honor all the women who have made significant contributions to society throughout history. And today, we dedicate this episode to women empowerment in the Carolinian community, where we are witnessing history being made.
Ah, that's right. To everyone out there, all the sis, all the dies, all the dongs, this episode is for you. And one of the biggest steps taken this year towards women empowerment is the online campuses program, which is the What We Women Want platform, which aims to create a more gender-inclusive university. In fact, invited here today is the proponent of this amazing advocacy. She is also currently a counselor in the University of San Carlos Supreme Student Council, and in fact, one of the main reasons that made her run for counselor was to let her advocacy reach as many people as possible. With that said, let us welcome Ate Mariel Dumaraos.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you so much for the invite.
It's our pleasure, Ate Mariel. We feel empowered already by your presence alone.
Same, Jess. With this energy, I'm already getting so hyped up. Let's get the ball rolling.
Okay, so for starters, we mentioned earlier that you are the proponent of the What Women Want, or WWW, advocacy program, which aims to create safe spaces, inclusive policies, and a gender-inclusive Carolinian community. Could you talk about what your platform has done to achieve this goal?
Interesting question. Thank you for that. So, what women want concrete solution in establishing a safe space in the university is the implementation of the grievance system. So, this grievance system is designed to address misogyny and sexual harassment cases in the university, be that within the four walls of our classroom or online spaces. We also hold educational discussions about the issues women are facing and how men and other groups can be a part of the solution.
So, hearing the story of your platform and the challenges it has overcome is truly an inspiration and it's really cool. It's very important to give women a safe space, especially now that the world is rapidly evolving. In my case, of course, I've also dealt with that. I'm a woman, so I know what you're talking about. I can totally relate to that. So, since you've talked about the programs that What Women Want has implemented, would you like to? We would like to ask, what are some upcoming events or activities or possibly long-term goals that you have for this platform?
Okay. So yesterday we just had our Ask Doctora event in partnership with an association of OB/GYN doctors. We had a discourse regarding the stigmas on women's health and how we can address it. So come March 31, we also have our culminating event for Women's Month called Women Can, Breaking Biases Against Women. So we will be inviting key speakers who will talk about, number one, being child-free and how motherhood is not a requisite of womanhood. We also have, number two, like women thriving in business and how the business world is not just a man's world. And number three, the radical leadership of a woman and a lot more. So in terms of long-term goals, we aim to help women beyond the four walls of our university. So we aim to help the marginalized women together with the Carolinian community.
So just a quick follow-up question to Mariel. Is everybody invited to that, or is it an open event for anyone who wants to join, or is it strictly for Carolinians?
Yes, definitely. It's open to the public. It's not for women lang. It's open for men, the LGBT, it's for everyone.
Where can we find the invite, or how can we join?
We will be posting a registration form or a link so everyone can just register, and we will be sending the Zoom or the FB live through their email.
I really love that. And based on how you spoke about it, I could really sense your passion. And I really love your passion and the effort that you put into letting this platform grow. I also like the fact that this advocacy not only aims to empower women, but it also gives them safe spaces, again, as I mentioned earlier, as well as to voice out their own experiences and concerns. However, of course, we have to take into consideration the lockdown. It has basically cut us off from doing anything physically, which is a bad thing because even if our voices have stopped, our problematic experiences as women do not. So my next question would be, how can women speak up about instances of sexual harassment, especially now that we are in this pandemic?
This question is very relevant with our situation right now. So during the pandemic, with all the subsequent lockdowns, women are trapped with abusive family members or even partners. I mean, even just here in the Philippines, rape cases have increased from around 2,000 to 6,548, and that's a lot. So now, how can we help women speak up despite being in the midst of a global health crisis? So number one, ask help. It can either be online, through your local helpline, or through organization or domestic violence shelters. But again, in order to encourage women to ask help or to speak out, we should give them a safe space for them to do so. And number two, we should hold perpetrators accountable. So number two, is to never stop talking about it. We have to educate people with the struggles women face, create awareness, organize, mobilize. The pandemic or any crisis for that matter should not silence us.
Wow, so it really has a large scope that is very relevant to the situation that our society is facing right now in this crisis. Well, subbing on Lizzo, why men great till they gotta be great? And I think all this talk about women empowerment needs a discussion on one of the problems in which this advocacy tries to tackle, which is gender bias. Although there are many factors that comprise it, could you name one prominent factor that greatly contributes to gender bias and how we can avoid it or deal with it?
Personally, one prominent factor would be societal mindset. If we continually accept or support views that limit women or at the same time discriminate men, we will be stuck with gender bias or inequality. For example, I'm a wife, but I also want to be a career woman. However, I feel guilty if I see my husband do the chores or look after the kids. Now, if you look at the situation as if the role is only expected of you and not your husband, then you are undermining yourself by continuing to support such stereotype. So changing your mindset or the society as a whole is a big factor in tackling gender bias.
I get what you say, Ate Maria. Sometimes these values that are, how can you say, degrading to ourselves as women is integrated into us from the moment we were born by our society, and it's up to us to dismantle those kinds of thoughts. I'd like to ask a personal follow-up question if we have the time. So we've visited the What Women Want Facebook page, and in the captions of one of your posts, it stated that the modern Filipina is not just militant but a woman for action. And it got me curious, so I'd like to ask respectfully, could you tell us more about the modern Filipina? What are her qualities and characteristics?
So the modern Filipina is not bound by the constructs or expectations of society. She is aware that she has a choice. Like, for example, if she wants to pursue and build her career and not become a mother, she is able to do that. She is confident in making decisions, in putting direction in her life. So a modern Filipina is not limited or being controlled by tradition or religion or anything. She is free, she is herself, and she doesn't step on people. She respects everyone. So that's a modern Filipina for me.
I love that, Ate Mariel. I love how you said that we don't let tradition or religion bind us on or limit us to what our potential as women or as people can do. We no longer have to stick to what others expect of us. They expect us to just stay at home, do the chores. They don't expect us to work or succeed. So now that we've been able to talk about some of the issues that women face, we'd like to ask you about what is your perspective on women empowerment and what made you become an advocate for it? Or is there anyone in specific who gives you inspiration for your advocacy?
So, women empowerment isn't like an aesthetic or a trend. We empower because we acknowledge there is oppression. So there is a lot more work to do, and we have to address that. When it comes to inspiring me to have this advocacy, the inspiration really came from the struggle. Being raised in an environment where women are being physically, emotionally, verbally abused and underestimated, it made me see that I cannot tolerate this kind of treatment from anyone. And it's, I don't want women in the future or even our kids in the future to be raised in the same type of environment. So how do we change that? We start to work on it. So that is why I'm bannering this advocacy, whether it's inside the school or outside of the school. There's a lot of work that has to be done.
I agree, Ate Mariel. Well, it is up to us to make things better for the future generations, for the women, and not only the women, but also the men. Because women empowerment is for everyone. So we've made mention of many instances and experiences that point towards women being underestimated and discriminated against. If we may ask, have you experienced any of these yourself? In other words, what are some challenges or stereotypes that you faced as a woman, and how were you able to deal with it?
Especially like for me, I'm in leadership. There's really a stereotype when it comes to women in leadership or women with authority. Or even in the work that you do, if you are detailed oriented, they will write like outrightly say, "Oh, kote kay babae, ana." Or even as a woman communicating your feelings well, they generally just tell you, "Oh, she's emotional, she's just being a girl." And how do I deal with that? I just really prove them wrong. That women can do it. We can finish the job well, we can communicate well, we can accomplish things well. So, women can.
That's right, Ate Mariel. There are some instances when women are underestimated for our feminine qualities and these specific types of fields, and they are seen as weak or something inferior. But I suppose we can break out of that stereotype if we can show them that those qualities are not just limited to us, but it can also be in everybody, and that we can also embody those qualities that can make a situation successful. It's really an eye-opening response. Well, we are actually coming towards the end of this interview, and we'd like to ask you one final question. Do you have any parting words, advice, or do you want to promote any of the upcoming projects for your advocacy to our listeners, especially to our female audience?
Yes, we do have, especially come March 31, we will be having our Women's Month culminating event. We will be posting your registration links. It's not only limited to women, it's open to the public. You may invite your friends, your family, the LGBT community as well, because everyone has a role in breaking the bias. So we hope to see you there, and we're so excited to meet everyone.
Yeah, I really love that, Mariel, and I am definitely looking forward to March 31 joining your event and in culmination of what women want, or Women's Month. So again, it's open to the public. They will be posting a registration. So anybody who's willing or who's interested in joining, please do so and join us on March 31. I for sure will be there. Francis, will you be there?
Of course, I will
Yes.
put my name on the registration.
I hope to see you there. And because of this interview, I am so hyped and looking forward to March 31. And I hope our listeners are also feeling the hype, the energy for March 31. So, Mariel, you are such a dedicated and awe-inspiring woman. And Beyond Borders is so honored to have you here and share your advocacy and your passion for women empowerment. Thank you so much for being here, for taking time out of your very busy schedule as a student leader, and as a woman herself. We are looking forward to more success in your efforts and advocacy in the future. Of course, we would also like to greet everyone, especially the sis, the dies, the Mars, the moms, the me's, the bees, and all those who identify themselves as women. A happy International Women's Month from all of us here in Beyond Borders and Rotaractors Cebu Fuente USC chapter. See you guys, and once again, thank you to Mario. It's been a great honor having you here.
OMG, thank you so much, guys. I had so much fun.
And of course, to my beautiful and very talented co-host, Francis, thank you.
Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Ate Mariel, for this honoring our event.
Okay, so we'll be back in a couple of seconds. Please don't go anywhere, and see you guys. Bye. Grabe, hosty. I really felt the feminine urge to go and advocate for women's rights after the interview with Ate Mariel. It really hits different when a woman passionately leads a certain advocacy.
Tama ka dyan, hosty. Speaking of women, Beyond Borders prepared a little guessing game entitled Tell Me Who's That Girl. In this game, we will be describing 3 Filipinas, and it is your job, listeners, to tell us who we are describing. You are given 5 seconds to answer.
Are you ready, mga beshies? Okay, for the first Filipina, she is a military Filipino leader who spearheaded an Ilocana independence movement after the assassination of her husband during the Spanish regime. Now tell me, who's that girl?
Okay, time's up. The answer is Gabriela Silang. This woman is known to be a fearless warrior and a great leader of the people of the Philippines back when we revolted against the Spanish. Next up, she is a Filipino-Australian beauty queen who advocated for women's rights and initiated Paraiso, the Bright Beginnings project that raises funds for children in the Smoky Mountain landfill in Tondo, Manila. She was also crowned as Miss Universe last 2018. Tell me, who's that girl?
You're right. She is Catriona Gray. She truly is an inspiring woman with an advocacy and that lava walk, though. Last but not the least, she is a Filipino lawyer, politician, and social activist that led the Angat Buhay program, which assisted the farthest and the poorest communities in the country with their fight against poverty. An additional hint, she is the 14th and incumbent Vice President of the Philippines. Now tell me, who's that girl?
You got it, listeners. She is Vice President Leni Robredo. To those who got all three correct, congratulations! Share this episode with your kapwa sis and Zais para hasta sila ma-inspired by the amazing women we just talked about.
As we flip a new page on the calendar, Rotaractors, take note of the many wonderful events April has in store. It is time to celebrate Maternal and Child Health Month on April 1st, followed by World Autism Awareness the next day.
In addition, April 8th is the start of the Pilipinas Rotaract Convention, which will end on the 11th. But don't you forget, 9 is the day of Valor. Let us pray in peace on the upcoming Holy Week on 11 to 17, and then celebrate World Malaria Day. Turnover of mosquito nets on the 22nd.
Finally, the following activities are yet to have a final date. Pediatric Physical Therapy Awareness, RACCF-USC Recollection, and Movie Monthly. Stay tuned, Rotaractors.
It may be the last day of March, but it's never too late to celebrate birthdays. To those March babies out there, we wish you good health and a year full of growth, especially to Jamay, Doril, Job, Anin, Danny, Jess, Pao, John, Jer, Ariane, Kimmy, Cheska, Angel, Mickey, Joy Joy, and Kay.
And let's not forget about Nikki, Tammy, Mark, Franch, Nikki, Franz, Kim, Shine, Kina, Dots, BJ, Lay, Corinne, Mackie, Gab, and Win. As we end this insightful and empowering episode, let us keep G.D. Anderson's words, feminism isn't about making women strong. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Don't forget to like and follow our Facebook page, Rotary Club of Cebu Fenta USC Chapter. Catch you guys again next time as we tackle another topic that is close to our hearts.
See you around. Bye!